I wouldn't criticize you for long answers. I am the king of long answers and equally long questions. So not going to start throwing stones in my glass house over here. You mentioned a few of the theories that sit under the category critical theories. Without me presuming that listeners know what they are, you mentioned post-colonial theory, queer theory, gender theory. What are critical theories, and why aren't they a sound way in which to view the world through, or at least one lens to view the world through?
So the branch of critical theories that I am looking at are the ones that have stemmed particularly from postmodern thought and from Michel Foucault in particular, and the idea that knowledge is a social construct. It's constructed by the powerful in the service of their own power. They then legitimize this knowledge, and as ways of talking about things, we all talk into these patterns that assume that men are leaders and women are subordinate, that white people are superior to black people, that straight people are superior to gay people. And we all talk in these patterns, and these perpetuate these oppressive systems of white supremacy, patriarchy, homophobia, transphobia. And these come out in things like post-colonial theory first, where we see the decolonized movement, then queer theory, where we hear that sex and gender are entirely social constructs. And critical race theory has a large element of the postmodern stance within the intersectional realm, which is defined by Crenshaw as contemporary politics linked with postmodern theory. And then in various forms of intersectional feminism that appear in gender studies, and in things like fat studies, disability studies. And it's you can recognize these kind of critical theories, and I call them critical social justice theories after Rosalind Sensoy and Robin DiAngelo. You can tell these kinds of theories because they are radically skeptical of objective knowledge. They believe that these invisible power systems run through everything, that they're perpetuated in the way that we speak, and that we need to change the way that people think and that they speak. Most people aren't aware of these systems that they're contributing to, and so they need to have their unconscious bias made clear to them. Then they need to work to dismantle their whiteness, detoxify their masculinity, decolonize their way of knowing. So this is where we get the whole woke concept from. It's people who think they can see through to these power systems running everywhere, and they need to wake everybody else up to them.
Okay, I think
they are. Why don't they work?
Because, yeah.
Because this simply isn't an accurate depiction of reality. Of course, the kernel of truth in that is culture exists. We all know that culture exists. We know that assumptions can be made, and they can be sometimes cultural assumptions. We can make assumptions about people because of their sex, their race, their gender identity, their sexuality. But this idea that we are all socialized into exactly the same ideas and only the critical social justice activists can see them, it simply isn't the case. You may notice there's very little focus on class. There's almost a denial that intellectual and ideological diversity exists among groups. And there's a very strong rejection of the idea that people can evaluate ideas for themselves, reject or accept them, and as well as the critical social justice activists can. For them, you can either be racist and accept it and work to dismantle it, or racist and in denial and therefore perpetuating the problem. There isn't the option to say, I also see problems with racism when they arrive, and I oppose them. I don't think they're inevitable in every single interaction.
I think any look at the newsreel would, depending on which news outlets that you're reading, I suppose, would show the remnant